All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. This is Tim. I am director of BEES.Social and I have Ray Pepito from BEES.Social and a couple other leaders from the gang, and we're going to go into our What is Cryptocurrency slideshow so that we can get a better understanding. Good afternoon, Ray.
How's it going, Tim? Appreciate you,
Very
man.
well.
How's it going? Afternoon, everyone.
All right, so I'm going to bring up the slides and we'll get right into it. Take it away, Ray.
All right, thanks, Tim. As Tim said, my name is Ray Pepito. I'm an Opus partner, and my node on the Opus chain is called Media Blocks. If you've never heard of Opus, we are a blockchain project that's been in digital silence for 3 years. As Tim was bringing up, we're also BEES.Social. If you don't know what BEES.Social is, that's currently what you're on right now. This is kind of what launched Opus into the public eye and to kind of just introduce us to the world. So it's an awesome place where it's going to be more like a crypto university where everybody can come in a safe environment and just learn about cryptocurrency. We're not here pitching any kind of products, any projects, things like that. We're going to here just to educate you about what the crypto space and just things that, you really don't learn in any other environment. Usually people are trying to sell you something, and that's not what we're doing here. We're just here to educate you. But today we're going to start out basically just with cryptocurrencies and what are cryptocurrencies? What are the type of currencies that we all use? There's 3 different types of currencies that we currently use, and that's fiat currency, there's digital currency, and then there's cryptocurrency. Fiat currency, we all know. I mean, that's dollars, that's euros, that's pesos, that's anything that you're normally use in the regular world, and it's fiat because there's really nothing backing any of the cryptocurrencies or any of the fiat currencies. There's really, for the dollar, what really backs the dollar? It's not gold. It's not really anything else. It's really just the U.S. military. That's kind of what gives us our value. But that's the first currency that we going to talk about today. The second one is digital currency. We use those too. You probably don't realize it, but if you ever play in games and gaming, those are digital currencies. If you ever heard of the game Fortnite, if you're a parent and you have kids, or if you're just one of the younger folks anyway that played Fortnite, V-Bucks is a digital currency. That's what you're using, okay? Here's the difference of cryptocurrency and digital currency, though, is cryptography. Cryptocurrencies are just like digital and virtual currencies, but there's a cryptographic protection behind them. They're built on the blockchain, and that's what gives them a whole nother level of being a currency, and what gives, just in general, why there's value in it. There's a lot of value in these cryptocurrencies where people like us, me, you, and any individual can now act as your own bank. We don't need third parties. We don't need banks. We don't need those intermediaries like banks and insurance and those financial institutions. We don't need those in this space. That's a kind of big deal about what the deal is with cryptocurrency. How do cryptocurrencies get their value? We're going to talk about that. There's a lot of technology behind blockchain. Blockchain is the big idea behind all these currencies, right? But it's only touching the surface. It's only 10% of what the blockchain is capable of. It's more than just currencies. It's going to be into the financial system. It's going to be in insurance. It's going to be in the medical field. It's going to start running smart cities. The blockchain is the big idea of this whole space. It's the thing that's running all of this with Bitcoin, Ethereum. They're all built on blockchain technology, and it's going to change. I know we all seen what the internet did for data. That's what the internet back in 91, and when the internet came online, it changed the way we kind of move data around. You would laugh at somebody that would say, hey, there's going to be this thing that's called electronic mail, email, and, companies won't use file cabinets and all these things and all this. It's not going to do like that. You're going to be able to send it from one machine to the other. They would have laughed. People were laughing back then about that kind of stuff. Well, this is a whole nother level. This is going to change and tokenize everything else that the internet didn't really, mainly assets. It's going to tokenize assets, going to tokenize people. I don't know if that kind of freaks you out, but that's a good thing. You have value. People have always been the value of everything that's been created on this planet. They're always been after you, whether it be football, music, people that are selling things on Amazon. They're always after you, right? Okay, so yeah, since I brought up Opus, I see that what are the tokens that Opes.Finance uses? We do. Opes.Finance has right now 3 tokens, right? And it's called WPE, and we have PE, and we have OS. PE and OS are on our chain right now. When you see that we have a WPE, all that means is we staked OS on our chain to mirror the other WPE on the Ethereum chain. And that W is just meaning that it's wrapped with Ethereum. So we can operate on Ethereum's blockchain. And you'll see that when we get into DeFi and decentralized financing, that is what DeFi is, just so you know. It's called decentralized financing. What does tokenize really mean? Well, that's a great question. And tokenize means where you're digitally, like, just think of stocks, right? You're digitally, putting value on that stock, and you're able to break it off into pieces. Instead of buying one whole stock of let's say Apple, like an Apple, I don't even know what an Apple stock is. It's over what? Anybody know? I think it's over $2,000 a stock. Don't know. Don't hold me to it. But you would normally have to buy a stock like that. But in this, you could buy pieces of it. Just like, say, give you an example. Eventually, in probably a couple years, we're going to tokenize real estate. So you literally could own pieces of the Empire State Building. If they were to tokenize that building, you would be able to have a little piece of the Empire State Building. You would never, as an individual, be able to own a skyscraper. But with this type of technology, you could tokenize the little pieces and assets of the Empire State Building. And every company that has rented facilities in there would be able to, disperse everything that the Empire State Building made out into everybody who owns little pieces of it. So just a little thing about what tokenization is. We do and talk about every one of these subjects right there. I was way off with that. Is that Apple? Yeah, Apple's.
Yeah, that's Apple. I'm sure it's split a few times, but
right. Yeah, I was way off. See, I'm in the crypto space, Tim. We think about big numbers. Like look at Bitcoin. It's at like 32,000, 34,000, 30,000. That's what it is, a coin, right? So this space is it's coming. It's almost here. You haven't missed it. But
great. That brings up a good question. Somebody asked the other night to us, how do you buy a portion of Bitcoin, and how much can it be broken down into?
Yeah, as small a piece, you could buy $10 of Bitcoin. There is no minimum, right? The only thing you would want to consider is sometimes the fees. If you're going to buy very small pieces like that, your fees could kind of eat into that. But it's really not that bad. Anyone can buy pieces of it. I liken it, and you can think, people think of pieces of Bitcoin, but think about when you go to the store and buy a burger. They're going to tell you that, oh, okay, thanks, that's $5.67. Well, that decimal point is the same thing of breaking up a dollar into dimes, nickels, quarters. It's the same thing. They just broke up a dollar, that little change piece, right? Well, it's the same thing with Bitcoin. When you buy 0.01, you're just buying a little pieces change of Bitcoin, right? So there is. There's no minimum or maximum that you have to buy when you get into cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any of the altcoins. That's an awesome question, Tim. So it is. People need to see that, like that, because they don't look at it just like how dollars are. You having $10.32 is the same like having 10 Bitcoins and 32 pieces of it, right? Except for Bitcoin's 30,000 a coin.
And that brings up another point, that when somebody looks at it and says, well, 32, they might want to buy a piece of it thinking that it might go up or down, oh, it's too expensive to get into now. But you don't have to think about the price it is now. You just want to start holding some Bitcoin or some ETH or some wrap PE, whatever else we have working. You don't have to think of it like, oh, I can't, I'm too late to the game to invest in Bitcoin.
Yep. That's exactly what we talk about that on our night calls. You're right, Tim. I mean, because that does deter people that think, okay, I missed it. You didn't. If you really think that it's going to go up, and we all do here, because we know that institutional money is about to come in here. It's about to be fully accepted, right? It's about to get mass adoption. That's what's about to happen in this space. You see it all the time. PayPal. You see Chase Bank. You see Facebook. Yeah, I just saw this morning Amazon sending me ads to get their Amazon coin. It's happening, and you haven't missed it. But yes, if you get a little piece of Bitcoin or Ethereum or even our coin, Wrap PE, everything is moving up. And when all this money comes in, it's going to lift all boats. So that would be including your money and your piece. Great point, Tim. So yeah, sorry, I skipped. I went all. It's funny. You already we jumped ahead, but the coolest thing here is what was the first transaction on the internet, and you see it on the slide right here, and it's right there. What's cool is it's not only the first transaction that happened on the internet, but it's also the first transaction that happened to Bitcoin. Both of them were pizza. It's kind of cool how that all worked, but it's neat, you know. The first Bitcoin transaction took place at a forum called Bitcoin Talk. Bitcoin Talk is an internet forum dedicated to the discussion of Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and cryptocurrency. The forum was initially created by Satoshi Nakamoto. Everybody knows that that's the creator or group. No one really knows who that is. Satoshi Nakamoto, it's a mystery. It's kind of a cool thing with blockchain. But that anonymous inventor of Bitcoin, he dropped that on November 22nd, 2009. So on the software programmer called, his name was Laszlo, he offered 10,000 Bitcoins to purchase a pizza, right, on that date. That was the first time that somebody tried to offer Bitcoin in return of something like a service or a product. And that pizza for the Bitcoin, it was accepted on May 18th, 2010. That was the very first transaction of Bitcoin. And the interesting thing there is, it's if you look at the price of that to today, right? Bitcoin, he bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoins. Those pizzas were $20.50, a piece when he wanted it. So it was $41. Today, if you look forward of what he has there, that, and we're just averaging numbers because we're talking about big numbers here, but that's a $300 million pizza, right? That's pretty incredible. Now think of that of your money now, right? If you would have had your money, you can buy pizza, several of them, Tim. So you can buy several of them. That is, and that's the movement of cryptocurrency and people how they talk about Bitcoin. It's just some little scam or some little kind of fad. It's not. This is a real asset, and people are taking this. I know BMW is starting to take Bitcoin to buy their cars. People are accepting it. It is money. It's a store of value, and there's a lot of reasons why Bitcoin. And we go into these talks about why all this is. And if you get a little sense of what we do here, this is it. We're not pitching you anything. We're just talking about this space. We're talking about, like I said, we're people like Tim, Joey, we can all come in here and just discuss it, right? That's all this is, right? The other reason why Bitcoin doesn't has value is the first thing, it can't be seized. And that's you might not think of that, but that's a big deal. Citizens of countries like Argentina and Lebanon are well aware of how the government can interfere with the money stored in a person's bank account. When you deposit cash in a bank, people don't think of this right here, right? But nobody tells you are handing control of your money to the bank and to your government. You are doing that, whether you think so or not. But when you give that money to them, it's out of your control. And people don't recognize what banks do with your money. If you put a large sum of money in, think of fractional reserve banking. If people don't know what that term is, look it up. You can literally deposit $100 in a bank, and that bank can now loan out $1,000 on your money, right? And make interest on that loan. It's not even that bank's money; it's your money, right? That's the coolest part when you get into this space with cryptocurrency. We're into something called decentralized financing and yield farming. We are using the same mechanics that banks use. We're doing the same thing because we are acting as banks. That's another great thing about, again, being in this space. We don't need them. We can act as banks on here, and we get all those fees, and we get to use all those mechanics and cool credit default swaps and all those crazy, awesome terms where these banks and big investment bankers make huge amounts of money. It's a reason why we can do it in here. But another thing is seizing. A country can come and seize your money in your bank account. It mostly happens with criminals, right? But there's a lot of times where your assets can be frozen and stolen by a government. Maybe you didn't commit a crime. They just did it. You're starting to see that stuff. It happened in other countries. It happens places, okay? Bitcoin also is another great way of sending value around the world. That's another reason why it's worth something. Bitcoin is like a money order that you can send anywhere in the world. It will get there in around 10 minutes, and it will only cost a few dollars to send. There's only a little bit of fees, right? But that's another awesome value of Bitcoin. If you've never sent money, think of sending money. If you ever send it to another country, I'll give you an example. If you were sending money between two first world countries like Switzerland and the United States, it could take 5 days to do that, and nearly 10% fees they'll take from you for that. By comparison, Bitcoin is a much better option. It's huge. It's a big difference. Also, last point is deflationary currency. Central banks around the world are printing money like it's going out of style. They are. Amidst the backdrop of monetary inflation, Bitcoin is a hard asset like gold with a set supply rate. No central bank or Wizard of Oz economist can print more Bitcoin. They can't do that. Give you an example. Our Federal Reserve prints money all the time. Number one, I don't think they're really printing money. They're just adding a digital zero to our debt. That's what they're doing. And give you a little quick hint, look it up. The Federal Reserve is neither federal nor do they have any reserves. Okay? It's a private bank that is in control of all of our money. Look that stuff up. It's all real. So private bank, which is private people, can print money, but you and I can't print money. And they can't do it to Bitcoin. There is no way. That's another reason why they've been kind of holding off all this blockchain and cryptocurrencies, because they can't control it. This is a decentralized system. No one is in control here. There is no Bitcoin headquarters. There is no Ethereum headquarters. And you can't pick up a phone and find customer service for Bitcoin. It's just because it's decentralized. Yep.
I just want to clarify. You said no one's in control. The truth is that everyone's in control. Right. We all have control over the piece. We each save a part of the blockchain, and we all agree. Our block agrees with everyone else's block, and we're all in control, rather than one person or one Fed being in control. So it's not that there's no control.
Right. You do. You want to tighten that up, right? It is, and it is. It's really the technology. And Tim's right. I mean, that's what they're meaning by decentralized system. We are. I mean, this is kind of the people money. It's that kind of system, right? And it does put people back into control of one of the most things that people use today is money. So yeah, it's a great point, Tim. Is that's what this is all about. There is no control, but there's no centralized control. We have to get permission to do things with. But yes, as together, people all coming together and taking responsibility on our for ourselves. And this is a space you have to do that. You have to take responsibility for yourself. You must write down passwords. You must write down seed phrases, and you must keep them off of your computer and your phones. It needs to be written and kept in a safe and in a fireproof safe at that. This is, like I said, it's an unforgiving space, and you must take responsibility. People may think of that as a downside, but it's not. Okay, if the system that we're thinking about changing is going from that old system of control to this new system of more freedom, then you must take responsibility for yourself. And that's what we talk about here, right? That's kind of the whole idea here. And, the next slide, this is a cool one. And this is kind of where we like to end it here. It's just the difference. If you were able to look for the past 10 years of who made the most, if you would have put your money in cash for 4 years or for 10 years, you would have made 4.8% on your money. So 10 years, keeping your money in cash, 4.8% growth. That's not that good. That's not, even gold. People love gold, right? And if you would have kept your money in gold, whether it be paper or, physically you keep it in your safe or a safety deposit box, 24.3% is what you would have made in the past 10 years on gold, right? Go to the very top, Bitcoin. And you saw what we were just talking about, pizzas, right? If you would have kept your money in Bitcoin and you would have, put it in there, you would have made 6,271,233% on your money. That's an incredible slide. That's not magic. That's not just some kind of weird thing. That's a bubble. This is because this system is changing, and that's what we're talking about. Bitcoin, these cryptocurrencies. There's reasons that they have value like this. Is it's because the technology that they're built on, and it's all because of blockchain. This is what's going to change, our world. So this is, our first introduction video. We appreciate you being on here, and we just close it out here and just appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
That's good stuff. And then where, besides on the Roku channel, YouTube channel, BEES.Social, where else can we find more information? Anybody that wants to get in the conversation, how many of these talks are we going to run?
Right. Yeah. Right now we got Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We do webinars, and we're doing these live streams. I think we're going to add Saturdays, Tim, because we have more instructors coming, and there's people just like you and I. They're just standing up. They've dug into this space, and they just want to share what's happened to them in this space. Even for me, I'll quick example of from 5 months ago, I have 40x'd my money. And that's all I want to share with you is how, what did we do with that? How did that happen? And that's all we're here to talk about, because I'm excited just to share that with people. Other places, we have BEES.Social. That's going to be our website. We're going to have a lot of projects that come through there where you're going to be able to speak to the actual developers. You're going to speak to founders of these projects. It's very cool, different space that it's really needed in here right now. It's hard to know who you're going to invest in with some of these alternative coins, right? You don't know. You can't go on YouTube and just listen to some guy, pump a coin. That's not how you really want to invest. You want to hear from directly the people that do it. We also have, if you want to look more about Opus, we have an opuslayer.io. You can look more about what we are about. Again, like I told you, we're in digital, silence. We're about to go really live in about 3 weeks. And you're going to learn really what we're about. And real quick example of how I'm talking about our technology is different from everyone else is that and I know Ethereum is forked, right? But they're working on transaction and how fast they can do it. But currently, Ethereum can only do 15 transactions a second, right? That's all they can do. And they have forked. They're working on it. Okay. The next, think of Visa. Visa can do 24,000 transactions a second. Right? Opus, our chain, we can do 30,000 transactions a second right now currently. Our chain is working and operational. And if we tweak it and our developers just tweak it a little bit, and they can dial it in, it can get up to 60,000 transactions a second. That's what we're talking about, right? This is the technology that's coming, and we will shake the very foundation of the financial industry. That's what our goal is. That's what we're going to do. We're going to change the way lending. We're going to change the way credit. And your credit scores are done. That's what Opus is about. And again, we're going to go live, and everybody's about to see that what we're all about. And we were all created and launched through BEES.Social. This is an awesome place, and it's all about just being real. You see it in cryptocurrencies. Everybody's all secretive and all this kind of stuff. I'm crypto ninja. I came on here. My name's Ray Pepito. Tim's up there. Tim, Joey. We're real people, and that's what we discovered in the past 5 months of coming here. How fake a lot of this crypto stuff is, where people are buying YouTube views, where people are buying Twitter likes and retweets, and Facebook likes. It's a lot really, really, really fake, right? And we're going to change that. We're going to be real people coming together on live streams and just discussing this whole space. Going to change things. And it's going to come, like I said, it's becoming accepted. Crypto is coming. There's big institutional players coming in. And we're going to launch it. We're going to give mass adoption, and it's going to start with this place like this, BEES.Social. We're going to change the way it's done. It's going to be the greatest crypto university on the planet. So thanks, Tim. Sorry, I don't mean it. There's a quick question that I just droned on, but apologies, man.
That's quite all right. It's all good. And as you can see from the news of the day, today there was and yesterday big news about some internet guys getting together and starting to influence the market, and that's what's going to happen. People getting together and starting investment clubs that they can learn and do things with their money, and gives them just as much power as Wall Street. So we're going to do it all fair, ethically, and honestly, and hopefully those guys did the same thing on Reddit. But that's what we want to do. We want to get together and be social and be able to invest in our own futures.
That's right. Exactly right. Thanks, Tim.
All right.
Appreciate you.
So this was our inaugural call. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you again on BEES.Social TV.
All right. Good night. See you.
Good night.